Why might a merchant opt to work with Zaner and work with an agency to do their headless build as opposed to using resources in-house to execute this?
Sure. And I think, number one, agencies can help merchants make good decisions. We do 20 to 30 builds a year. And your average merchant is going to redesign their site once every 4 or 5 years. And based on that breadth of experience, we get exposed to more things more frequently. We solve more problems than an in-house team is ever going to. And so we have the ability to guide them in their decision making in ways that I think an in-house team really doesn't have the experience to do. That doesn't mean there aren't people within in-house teams that have lots of experience. I don't want to disparage any in-house teams, but we have a breadth of experience that I think is unmatchable from being in-house. That said, we also work really nicely with in-house teams. We're not a company where, and I think this is a little bit unique to Zaner, but we don't operate in a world where we have to take over all of it to be comfortable with the solution. We do a lot of work where we are partnered up with internal development teams, or an internal design team with our development team, or our design team with some of their internal development team. But no matter what, we're always playing that advisory role that is sharing that breadth of knowledge. We don't have to own it, but we do want to be at the table and sharing our expertise.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it. You're doing 30 builds a year. Your team, the depth of their experience is one where they're doing a build. Whereas an in-house team, I think, let's call it 2 to 3 years, maybe they do a build, maybe that, right? And
Mhm.
so it's not just the technical chops and the understanding of the brand. There's also other things that are very important and very impactful, like project management from a technical point of view. I one thing I've always admired about Zaner, I always thought that the delivery department and the PM side of things was always such top notch. I do think an in-house team, not that they're not good, it's just a slightly different flavor to do a build in-house as opposed to the work that you might do every day as an in-house team. So being able to even partner with those folks in-house, I think it's something really exceptional.
Yeah, a maintenance team and a build team are not always the same. And maintenance, meaning like the team that's actually running the day-to-day of a site, is not always the same skill set as the team that knows how to architect and stand something up from the ground up.
Mhm.
Even from as you said, from a delivery and a process standpoint, they're not necessarily the same thing. We also can overcome a little bit of an in-house bias, which I think is the other thing that we see from some internal teams, where it's a team that's been doing things a certain way for a certain amount of time, and they see change as a potential threat, whether to their job or to their experience or whatever. And because we're an outside voice, we can bring to the merchant, forget the internal technology team, but to a merchant, we can bring an outside voice and actually help make a recommendation that's based on objective thinking, and not based on, well, this engineer only knows liquid development, so we should not consider headless, right?
Mm.
I'd much rather take that engineer aside and say, we're going to take care of you. Let's bring you on board. Let's get you learning how to use React and Vue. And we're going to show you how to use all the skills you already have and keep growing them, and bring that person on board. But I don't think that every internal team is ready to make that leap without the guidance of a senior level engineering team that does this, like I said, 20 to 30 times a year.
Right. And let's not forget that in-house team, it's not like your website goes down. Your storefront doesn't go down in the process of doing a new build. There's still work that comes in that's active
Yeah,
for your current storefront. So don't forget that you need a little more firepower, if you will, on the engineering side than you would normally. And I think that's another thing that in-house teams could tend to underestimate and get themselves in trouble when they're doing any build, whether it's liquid or whether it's headless. But I would say in particular with headless, because the language is a little different, the framework's a little different. Maybe there is some education that has to happen for the in-house developers before they're really rocking and rolling and pushing the project forward. And those are factors that could be easily missed, I think, whenever you're considering a new build versus maintain.
absolutely.
How would you describe the work you do for a client on a build versus what the platform, if you will, the underlying API actually provides? Like, is there a way? Can you give us a little color, Noah, on what the difference is between those two?
Yeah, I think the agency should be solving the problems that are unique to the merchant, um, and the platform should be solving the problems that are consistent across merchants. So when I say unique to the merchant, I mean there's, starting from the very beginning, you're talking about the user experience design, the visual design, any custom functionality to a specific brand that might be, you have a custom product builder or something like that. That I wouldn't expect the platform to have all of that feature set baked into the platform, because it's not going to solve every merchant's needs, and it's going to be a waste of time to back yourself out of that. But for the things that are fundamental to commerce in this case, that's what I want the platform to do. I want it to understand what a product catalog is. I want it to know how to retrieve that, how to combine it with content from another source. I want it to integrate with the key tools of commerce, that are like upselling tools, optimization tools, customization of experience, like things like that is the stuff I want the platform to do, so that I'm not writing all of that myself again.